How can you burr a fire? Well, this is how we burr a fire, right? If I rent this regularly, probably get $12.50 a month for it, and I've run the numbers on an Airbnb model. Airbnb, this should actually make over $30,000 a year, right? Oh look, this is how you find out what the code is to the lockbox. Oh, they didn't spin any of the numbers. Awesome. That's when you'd want to have 12 months worth of coverage. So lesson learned, I boosted all my policies after that. All right, but no, we've had some drama here. We've had break-ins, somebody stole the copper out of the basement. So hey guys, I'm Kory MacKinnon. I've been investing in real estate since 2005, so 13 years. I got started in real estate in this house here. This is actually my apartment that I was house hacking in. Started off doing a lot of burring, and from there we also do short-term furnished rentals. We've done vacant possession, we've done cash for keys before, strategic renovations. And now we've also got a property that we're doing more like additions and maximizing the space. So.
That's awesome.
All right, so here's the triplex.
Oh shit!
Oh, shit. That was a quick drive. Yeah.
He wasn't joking when you said a stone throw.
It's a quick commute. So what happened here was this property, same height, but the upper unit was a really steep pitched roof, right? So we could only fit like a 1-bedroom in between the walls because there was like 4 feet of wasted space all the way around the unit. So what we decided to do is flatten it out, raise it up, keep the same height of the roof, which the city likes, and now we turn that 1-bedroom into a 3-bedroom.
Oh, wow.
The back here used to be a small, again, 450 square foot 1-bedroom. And I just said, okay, well, I don't know how much could we build back here, right? So we're going back 10 feet, over 5 feet, right up against the property line. So this is going to be a really big 2-bedroom unit. And I've run the numbers. You know, if I rent this regularly, probably get $12.50 a month for it, and I've run the numbers on an Airbnb model. So $12.50 a month over the course of a year, about 15 grand. On Airbnb, this should actually make over $30,000 a year, right? So I think Airbnb has it pegged at 33,000.
Yeah.
Right. So.
And then, so do you have all this available for parking, or how was this before?
Yep. This is all our backyard. So we typically use that for parking, and this is kind of like a right-of-way, and I maintain the whole parking lot. Nobody pays me for it because I'm, you know, the owner over here, but it's all good. Probably could have gone even bigger off the back here, but it's like, you know, we want to do a renovation that was supposed to be fairly quick. It's been a year in the making. It's probably going to be like a year and 3 months until we get our occupancy permit, but because we got held up by an archaeological assessment. So in London, about 75% of London, if you do an addition, you'll trigger an archaeological assessment, which I was like, great, what is that? They're like, well, that's when you got to bring somebody in. They do 30-centimeter test holes. I think it's a couple feet deep, all over your property. And if they don't find more than 20 particles of significant data, which could be broken glass, broken plates, whatever, then you're fine. I guess one of our test holes found a 1940s smoke pipe and like 30 or 40 fragments. So they're like, now you got to go to stage 2. I'm like, great. How much is the stage 2? $5,500 extra. I'm like, great. Now I'm into this for like 8 grand. And the funny thing was, when I was getting quotes on those archaeological assessments, I called 3 different companies. I picked one of them, and I told the other one, I'm like, I'll let you know if we end up going ahead with you. That message didn't get communicated to his staff. He sent somebody here anyway. So we actually had 2 archaeological assessments done. One of them found some stuff, one of them didn't. The person I was paying found stuff. Should have used the other guy. We would have been way further ahead, but you guys got it. And this is why you got to buy profitable real estate, because when you're getting those kinds of hits, like, you guys got to have the yield, you got to have the profit margin to be taking those kinds of hits, right? So on this property here, fortunately, we're actually able to use the insurance money, which is over $300K, to do all the rebuild. And some of the extra things that I'm planning on doing, like this addition here and the extra square footage in the top of the building. So to add 3 extra bedrooms, it only cost us 80 grand. So you think about what that 80 grand is going to do, the rent roll, it's going to be huge. It's actually, by spending that 80 grand, we're banking on, we've done the numbers and the appraisals, this property is going to go up in value by $200,000. So we should actually be walking away with a check, you know, from doing these strategic renovations, right? So burr method, how can you burr a fire? Well, this is how we burr a fire, right?
Love it. And so, did you mention, like, how did the fire actually start? Was it just a tenant, or?
It was electrical. Oh, okay. So even though the wiring had been upgraded in this house, there was still a couple odd runs of knob and tube, and it was like the coldest day of the year, so I don't know if that had something to do about it. Okay. But something caught, and the fire actually started right over here. Basically where the door is for this unit, the fire started up there in the attic. Okay. So Still able to get insurance claim money on it, which was awesome. And we'll show you what we're doing on the main floor. So I think they're drywalling upstairs. Oh look, this is how you find out what the code is to the lockbox. Oh, they didn't spin any of the numbers. Awesome. Hello. How's it going? I'm the homeowner. Yeah, just seeing how things are going. All right, so pretty much keeping the footprint of this unit the same. Funny, that back unit that we're doing the addition on, that washroom actually stole some square footage from this unit, so we got rid of that. And these 2 bedrooms, this was a 3-bedroom unit, so these 2 bedrooms were always small. I was always struggling to rent these like 9 by 10 bedrooms with like no closet. And so now that we had an extra 5 feet to play with, I'm like, nope, they're gonna be like 12 by 10, and they're both gonna have closets, right? So that's been great. So we'll have bigger rooms with bigger closets. Opened it up, so this used to be really compartmentalized. The kitchen was like right here. So we put this beam in, which cost us extra money, but it's totally worth it to structure, re-support the load. We're gonna do open concept kitchen with a bar. Everybody's gonna be sitting at this, island for eating purposes. And we're thinking couch right here. There's electrical on that wall right there, so people are going to be sitting here watching their TV. If that layout doesn't work, then you can put a couch up against their bar stools and game and do whatever they want right there. To do HVAC in this house was going to be a huge pain in the butt afterwards with just all the fire separations, and like I literally got 3 different opinions from 3 different people of like what it was going to take to do the HVAC in this property. So we end up going with hot water heat. So the hot water heat is roughed in right now. Then that gives you another problem. Well, what do we do about air conditioning? So we're doing ductless splits, and they just punch that in. That's what this is for. We went oversized just so it will definitely support the size of the unit. This is a 1,000 square foot unit, so we got 3 bedrooms in this unit. We are gonna perhaps experiment with what John's doing down in Windsor, furnish them, because I have good connections with furnishings. And we're literally gonna put it online for $750, $800 a room. It's in Old North. We'll see how that works. If it doesn't, we'll just go back to traditional model. So yeah, try something a little bit new. But I think kids will eat this up. Good sized rooms. Students tend to camp out in their rooms anyways. This is whenever we have a 3-bedroom unit, typically we do go for students. We go for upper year students. We always get parents to guarantor on their rents and their leases. And you set the expectations high in the beginning, so then they don't try to take advantage of anything later on. We got in-suite laundry here now, which is great. Nice sized bathroom. New windows.
And so how scary is it going through the insurance process?
It was kind of nerve-wracking, man. Like, I'd never had an insurance claim. Fortunately, I don't want to have too many more. But I use really good insurance companies. So this just goes to show that like the lowest price is not the best price. So I don't mind paying a moderate fair market value for insurance to make sure that if something ever does happen, that they're going to be fair if there's a claim. So this was a plaster house. They literally paid me to replace it in plaster, which will help me when it comes time for like, oh yeah, now there's all kinds of code upgrades, which wasn't included in my premium, right? Kind of balances each other out.
And so how did you originally buy this property? How long have you owned it?
Yeah, great question. So we bought this one back in 2007. I had already bought that first property. I believe this was my 2nd or 3rd property. So I saw the owner here. He was cutting the grass. It was one of the first grass cuts of the year, so it was probably like March, April. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go talk to him because I've been doing all the snow plowing here. I'm actually gonna see if he wants to contribute, right? So that was my intention. So I go, hey, how's it going? He's like, oh, great. I'm just kind of doing some landscaping because we're gonna put it on the market. I'm like, oh, really? Okay, well, we should talk because I own this property here, and it'd be great to be able to control the parking. Have another property just a stone throw away. I live at that property. And I said, let's make a deal, right? He's like, yeah, I'd be open to that, saving some real estate. And we initially kicked it off really well, got in a rapport really easily with him, and we made what did we end up doing? I think we got an appraisal, and I got an inspection. So we just took off a few things based on the inspection. So the appraisal came in at $235. I found like $5,000 worth of stuff that needed to be done, and we bought it for $227. So now, before the fire, it was worth about $425. After the fire, all the renovations it's going to be $600,000. But a lot of work. This has been a year of time and effort and energy, and there's probably easier ways to make money in real estate. But
One of the questions I know that's going to come up in the comments right away is, does your insurance cover rent?
great question. So yes, yeah, there's lots of different clauses you can get on insurance policies. And I always have some sort of rent loss in my policy. I think this one was only 3 or 4 months worth of lost rent, because I'm like, when would you ever need lost rent for a year? In this scenario, if your property catches a major fire and you have to do a total rebuild because of water damage, because they pump a swimming pool worth of water into your property, that's when you'd want to have 12 months worth of coverage. So lesson learned, I boosted all my policies after that. So thank you, Middlesex Insurance, for insuring us.
That's useful. I know that people are going to immediately be like, what happens when...
Yeah, so I got like 12 grand, which was better than nothing.
Yeah.
And I had content, I had some content, so I always insure the contents. I always insure appliances and all that kind of stuff. So I usually do like a $10,000 policy on a property, like a triplex or something like that. So I got all that compensated. I got the rents. So that's kind of helping pay some taxes. And there's a lot of overages here already, but you know, we're probably gonna be 25 to 30 grand over. Just with like compliance, right? You get one fire inspector that comes here and he's like, oh yeah, this is what you need. And then the next guy comes in and gives the notes to the next guy. He's like, oh no, you need like another 1 hour burn rating on the outside, and you know, can't do windows on the north side, can't do this, can't do that. But
probably after a fire, they're like super,
I can see that.
super horny to get you, right? Like,
yeah, and it's because we usually you have to be, what is it, 1.2 meters away from your property line to do anything. So we're closer than that, and we wanted to build up. So they said, yes, you can build up, but you have to comply to all these different things.
Gotcha.
You know, one of the things, like they already had this place all framed, and they're like, no, you got to cut all the frames and do double drywall.
Oh, yeah.
In between here, right? Some cities and some inspectors would be like, no, that's okay, because you're going to have the right burn rating anyways. They're 2x4s, and other people are like, no, you need the double drywall everywhere. So, yeah, again, I get to pay for it, which is awesome.
So how do you manage a project this big? Had you managed a project this size before?
I've done some $300,000 renovations before, a little more hands-on. This time I found a GC who's used to doing like insurance claim work and that sort of thing. I didn't want to have a Winmar or a Belfour kind of do this sort of a, not that they don't do good work, but you know, I've just heard too many, you know, horror stories of they have 16 jobs on the go and they're just rushing everything. So I went with Jay Okersey Contracting at St. Thomas, does this work all the time, does great work, and really been happy. I'll be using Jay for other things as well. And he's an investor himself, so Jay has rental properties. He knows, like when I was talking like, hey man, we got to get the size of these bedrooms, we got to get a decent closet in them. He's like, I totally get it, man. I do this stuff all the time too. So it's great to speak the same language with the people that you use on your power team. All right, but no, we've had some drama here. We've had break-ins. Somebody stole the copper out of the basement. I had my neighbor coming over here, neighbor's son smoking pot over here. So I think next time I'll put up a security camera or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Thanks again to Kory MacKinnon. That was a fantastic video, and in fact this is just part one of a series of videos we're going to be doing with Kory, and this was all inspired by the video series I've been doing with Casey. If you guys haven't seen that video with Casey, you need to check it out, but definitely make sure you smash that subscribe button so you can see the other videos with Kory. And if you want to see guys like Casey and Kory in real life, you need to come out to OREC 2019. I'm going to throw a link in the bio down below. Click that, get your ticket now. There's only going to be 500 for everyone that's going to attend. So get there, get your ticket, and make sure you're subscribed. Smash that like button if you got value from this. And until next time, remember guys, making money is a team sport. There's more than enough money in this world for us to all make it, but if you're not saving it, I mean, like, what's the point? Thanks, bye.